Jai Shrimati Ji.
Jai Shrimati Ji.
Jai Shrimati Ji, Uncle General Vijay Kapoor. Thank you for joining us this afternoon in the month of July. We just watched Shrimati Ji's visit to Calcutta, Kolkata as it's known now, in 1995, a beautiful time, which is when you first met Shrimati Ji. So first of all, thank you for taking your time and joining us to share your golden memories with Shrimati Ji, Shri Nirmala Devi herself. If you would be so kind as to tell us what it was like, how did your first meeting come about? What did you feel vibrationally and otherwise? If you would please share with us, it'll be amazing. Thank you.
You know, I had just returned from United Nations, from New York. And while in New York, I had contracted this disease, which the doctors could not cure. My heart had started beating between 100 to 100 and between 150 to 250 times a minute. So it was so uncomfortable, and this carried on for nearly 5 months. And of course, after a 2-month duty in United Nations and the headquarters of United Nations, where I had gone to do some work for the army. So when I returned back and I showed myself to various heart specialists, they said there's no cure for it, and that it is something which they called it psychosomatic. And they said it will go away in time. But I said, I feel very uncomfortable And because it makes me feel weak and I feel the pain in my heart at times. So they said it will go away in time, otherwise, we really can't cure it. And if it doesn't get cured, then you'll have to be boarded out of the army because, because if it can't be cured, you cannot remain in the army. And I was a brigadier at that time, posted in the army headquarters in military operations. So, well, we, sort of accepted it. There was no other way to solve the problem. Then one day, the then chief of army staff, who had earlier told me before I went for the United Nations, he said, "You must meet Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi." So I said, "I mean, any particular reason?" He said, "You keep falling ill very often. Maybe she can help you." So I kept that at the back of my mind, but there was no opportunity to meet her. Then, when this wedding, which was taking place in Calcutta or Kolkata, and I was asked to go along with the wedding procession, the Barat. So, when we arrived in Kolkata, in one of the functions, I saw Shri Mataji sitting there. When I asked people who is she, because she had a grand presence, and her face was so bright that, I mean, I was really enamored. So I asked people, who is she? And they said that Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. Then I remembered, the chief's words. So I said, will somebody introduce me to her? I asked around, and there was one of the gentlemen who said, Ki, look, she's conducting a wedding, and we can't ask her to meet you at this time. So I was very disappointed. I said, look, I have to meet her because I feel. So they asked me the reason. So I said, I feel that she can cure me of this ailment which I'm suffering from. So they said, they dilly-dallied and didn't want me to come. So I said, look, I'm so frustrated that if I don't meet her, if you don't make me meet her, I'll go myself in front of her. So they, then they decided to help me. They said, all right, come after 30 minutes. We'll make arrangements. So after 30 minutes, when I went, they told Shri Mataji. Shri Mataji called me in Hindi. She said, "Haan, beta, idhar aao. What is wrong with you?" So I told Shri Mataji, I said, I told her the whole story. I was in New York. This is what happened. And she said, she looked at me and for some time deliberated. She said, put your right hand on your heart and left hand towards me. Take a deep breath, hold your breath, close your eyes, and say, so and so, take a rebirth. I am in the good hands of my mother, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. I'll not speak the name because it's not material, but uh, obviously it meant that there was some possession. So when she said, I was, of course, shocked because in the army we don't believe in all this. So when she said, put your right hand on the heart, left hand towards me, I did that. Take a deep breath. I took a deep breath. Hold the breath, close your eyes. Held the breath, closed my eyes. She said, repeat these words. She made me repeat these words, that is, so and so, go and take a rebirth. I am in the good hands of my mother, Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. So I said it 3 times, and this whole procedure was done 3 times. She said, you're cured, go tell your doctor, check you up. Now this was in 3 minutes time, total. So I said, Shri Mataji, but I don't feel anything. Then she told me in Hindi, Beta, आपके अंदर अभी संवेदना नहीं है. You don't have the sensitivity to feel what has happened to you. So as I was, with a long face, trying to go, turned my back to go away. She called me back. Come here, come here. So as I went near her, I bowed down, did the pranam the way others were doing. And she, with her fist, she thumped me on my back like that. That's the time the Kundalini was awakened, like that. And she said, now go. When you reach Delhi, when you go back to Delhi, learn to meditate in Sahaja Yoga. They will teach you. So I said, fine. So I turned away and came away. And that night, for the first time in the last 5 months, I had a 10-hour sleep. I slept for 10 hours. And otherwise, I used to sleep for 1.5 hours and get up with the pain in the heart region. So, and when I got up, I was feeling so absolutely, on top of the world. And it was a feeling which can't be described, but a wellness which I had not felt earlier, ever. So I understood that something had happened, but I was not feeling these vibrations which the people talked about, that the cool breeze from the hands or from the head. I was not feeling all that. But Shri Mataji had told me that you must meditate every day. When you go back, learn how to meditate. So, like a good soldier, I said, Shri Mataji told me to meditate every day. And people, when I came back to Delhi, they told me, you must meditate for 4 o'clock in the morning. And they explained to me the reasons. So, every morning I used to get up at 4 o'clock, meditate, and do foot soaking also at the same time. And lo and behold, after about nearly 1 month, I kept doing this for a month. After a month, one day when I had just finished foot soaking and I was sitting for meditation, as if it's a cloud burst. This cool breeze started coming out of my eyes, my nose, my ears, my head, my fingers, my toes, from the entire body. And it was, it was a, such an experience that I can't describe it. It's never happened again. That intense experience has never happened again, but it was so intense that it just shook me totally. Then I understood that something within me has awakened. And then I understood what these people used to say, that, this cool breeze will come out of your hand. It was coming out of every place. Out of my whole body, it was coming. So it was an outstanding experience. And well, that's the start of my Sage Yoga journey. And I never looked back. Thereafter, it was a meditation morning, evening, foot soaking daily. And now, so this was April of 1995. Now, in the army, I had already been approved to be a major general when I met Shri Mataji. But because the doctors had told me that you'll be boarded out of the army, so I was not expecting my promotion. So when I went back, the promotion medical board took place. And those same doctors who had told me that you will not be, you will not be able to serve in the army, they were shocked. They said, you're absolutely fit. What has happened? Shri Mataji had told me, go back and tell your doctors to check you up. I was so fed up of meeting doctors. I never checked with any doctor. But I went for the medical board and they said, you are absolutely fit. So I was approved. I came to the division, which was in Jhansi. This is a tank division. It has large number of tanks, and the entire division is on wheels or on tracks. is unlike any other formation of the army. And this is the formation which leads when the war starts. So uh, now, when I took over the division, it was the month of October, October of 1995. And uh, the division had already, entire division of tanks, they had already moved to the training area in the deserts. So when I reached there, they told me that, sir, your division is already moved. You should now move within a week. So after we settled down in the place, in our house, then I moved to the deserts. Now, very interesting episode there. I had started feeling these vibrations, and I loved these vibrations. Every moment that I got, I used to close my eyes and feel the vibrations. So uh, there we started training with the tanks, and that training carried on for 3 months in the desert, and very intense training, day and night. Then came the last part of the training, which is a test exercise, which is set by the command headquarters for a formation. So it was my test exercise where I was to be tested as to what is my ability to command the division in war. So, so you can imagine the corps commander called me and said, I used to be called V K Kapoor, Vijay Kumar Kapoor. VK, now this is the situation. This is where the enemy is. Please come up with a plan after they had explained to me where the enemy is, what am I required, what is my aim, etc. of this entire operation. They asked me, come up with the plan to us and explain your plan, how you're going to do it. And they gave me 3 days to work out the plan. So while I was working out the plan, various options for launching my formation. This formation is such that when it is launched, it takes up an area of about 40 kilometers by 40 kilometers. It's such a huge formation. So I was deciding how to launch it so as to get the better of the enemy and surprise the enemy. Now, there were three options in front of me. One was a very easy option of going in frontally, which, if you had no other choice, that was the choice. Then the other was to go from the flanks. To go from the flanks, we had to go over sand dunes which were 60 to 80 meters high, huge sand dunes, and therefore, uh, you know, it was literally impossible to think that the tanks could move from that side. When I took the vibrations of these options in front of Shri Mataji, in front of the altar, the vibrations, the best vibrations came for that toughest route, which was the highest sand dunes in that area. So I took it again. Then I told my brigade commanders, I said, look, they knew my spiritual leanings by that time. So I said, look, I didn't want to tell them about vibration now. I told them, look, what comes to me as an intuition is that we should take that route. And that's a very strong intuition with me. And I want one of you to tell me whether you will take your brigade from that route. So one of the brigade commanders said, I'll go. So I said, okay. So then we formed a plan and we went and told the corps commander. The corps commander told me, are you mad? The route that you are taking, are you mad? I said, sir, just leave it to me. I will complete this operation and you will be satisfied at the end of it because I'll get the better of the enemy. So he said, it is your Waterloo. I said, fine. And fair enough, Our tanks moved slowly, but by now, by 3 months in the desert, the drivers, the tank crews were so used to negotiating the sand dunes, they were fully ready. We moved slowly at an average speed of 3 to 5 kilometers per hour that night. Over a 10-hour period, we reached an area where the enemy was totally flabbergasted because on the map, on the maps, he had marked it with black crosses. Nobody can come from this side. And when, when two regiments of 90 tanks reached there and surrounded his entire headquarters, he was shocked out of his wits. He said, "This can't be, you have cheated." I said, "How can I cheat over ground?" They were so unsure of themselves. The next day, the corps commander took a helicopter to see the route on which, because once the tanks have moved, you can see the tank tracks. They make huge tracks. He could see the entire tracks on that flank. He was so enamored with the move that literally for us, the exercise more or less finished. But I mean, he was really, after that, he told me, he says, I don't know how you managed it. So I didn't tell, I didn't want to tell him that Shri Mataji managed it for me. I didn't manage it. Mother managed it.
Yes.
So that's the way. The upshot of the whole thing that I want to talk about is that all those who are Sage Yogis must know that if you're in, if you're a good Sage Yogi and you are meditating, then with your meditative powers, which are reflected in your vibrations, in your day-to-day work life also, when there is a problem which faces you, a challenge which faces you, use vibrations. You make your decision based on vibrations, not your mental faculties, because the mental faculties will let you down, but the vibrations won't let you down. That's the point that I'm making.
That's fantastic. And this is so I mean, to people who do not practice the meditation or who are not so-called Sahaja yogis, may find it really quite hard to believe that, your first meeting with Shrimati Ji was in April 1995. She cured you of a medical heart condition, arrhythmic heart, which the doctors had given up. And then within a month, you experience the vibrations and the cool breeze, and then you go face the same doctors who then promote you to Major General because Shrimati cured you of your heart condition. You then go on to this desert unit and do an exercise over the course of 3 months. So this we are talking perhaps October 1995.
Yeah, between October 95 to January, February 1996, because it carried on for 5 months, the
Okay.
training.
Okay. So,
And the exercise was at the end of the training.
wow.
The exercise
Yes. And the
was at the
crucial
end of the training.
And the crucial thing to remember between this October 1995 to January, February
Mhm. 90,
1996 is that you were actually meditating, and then once you found and recognized the vibrations, you were actually using it, which then
yes.
decided your sort of progression in your career, because it isn't easy to rise up, especially with a medical condition that is beyond belief for for human mind, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's nice how you use the vibrations to actually choose the maneuver, as you say, for the exercise, which seemed impossible, but because the vibrations were cool,
Now,
and
suppose it was a war situation. Imagine with this vibratory awareness, what an advantage you have as a commander, which the opponent will never know about you. So, therefore, I would say that people should take a lesson from this. That means, Sage yogis who meditate. There is another example. Uh, there is a unit called Rashtra Rifles. They are units which are formed to fight insurgency in Jammu and Kashmir. There was a particular unit, that unit and another unit, which was a special forces unit, who are highly trained and specially equipped for counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency. This unit had the CO, who was a Sahaja, and there were about a few Jawans in the unit who used to do Sage Yoga meditation. The other unit was totally non-Sage Yogas. Both went in for an operation against terrorists who were hiding in a forest. They both went in together from different flanks. Both achieved excellent results. One came out with no casualty. This Rashtra Rifle unit, who was commanded by a Sahaja, came out with no casualties. The other unit, which was a specially organized and trained unit, came out with one major who died and 5 other ranks, Jawans who died. So look at the look at the protection which Sage Yoga gives to a soldier. So that is why after retirement, I took it upon myself to go to many army units and formations and give them self-realization.
This is very interesting because I have a childhood friend in Lucknow, and she's married to somebody in the army. And she said, and although she's not a practicing Sahaja Yogi, um, her her daughter, she had meningitis when she was just a month or so, a few weeks old. And
Mm,
another friend of hers, another army wife, gave her Shrimati Ji's photo, the black and white photo of Shrimati
mm,
Ji. And so she has that photo, and she got it first time then when the doctors in the command hospital had given up on her baby. And she just prayed to all the gods, but also Shrimati Ji said, and so her daughter recovered, and she's a fine young lady now by mother's grace. And
okay.
so it's like there's lots of people who have benefited, who, even though they have not recognized Shrimati or feel the vibrations as we have, but that faith has made so much of a difference. In another instance, there's a book, and I'm not plugging it or anything, but this in Soul Quest, I did some interviews way back in Delhi with some Sahaja Yogis, and there was a Captain Naveen who shared he was in the Kargil War, and
Mhm,
and he's a Sahaja Yogi, and he wrote in his sharing of the experiences how when there was relentless firing all night, but he prayed to Shrimati Ji, and miraculously, as you just said about those Rashtriya Rifle Sahaj practicing
mm,
soldier units, they were unscathed. So it really is such a blessing from Shrimati Ji from all directions and all the time.
mm. She said that Sage Yogi should be totally devoted not only to Sage Yoga but to her.
Yes.
So that she said, then I'll look after your family. You leave your family to me. She said so in her talks. So we should understand Shri Mataji more and more.
Yes.
And this understanding comes with age and experience.
Yes. And also, just to remind our viewers now, because 1995, it's way back, we didn't have internet as we do now.
Yeah.
It was just coming up. There was definitely no drone. So it makes sense that
Yeah.
your boss had to go on the helicopter to check the tracks of the train because it was
Exactly.
so unreal at that time, the formation you chose. Um, at this point, I mean, Shrimati Ji was visiting Delhi quite frequently. Did you have any meetings with her when in all this professional world, as you were kind
You
of
see, I was not in Delhi. I
okay?
was firstly in a place in Uttar Pradesh, in a
Yes,
place called Jhansi,
yes.
city called Jhansi. Thereafter, I was posted to Mau.
Oh,
Mau is near Indore, about 17, 20 kilometers from Indore. And That is where the Army War College is. So after commanding my formation, I was posted to the Army War College as a teacher, as an instructor. And so therefore, I hardly used to meet
Yes.
any other Sage Yogi.
Yes.
We started Sage Yoga in Mao. I started a center. People started coming. About 100, 150 collectivities started joining us. And that center is still running beautifully. And so, therefore, um, but that's another experience of,
Okay. Like,
of the War College, because that gave me an opportunity. We used to run three types of courses: junior command for captains and majors, senior command for colonels, and higher command for those who had commanded their units from Army, Navy, Air Force. They used to come there for higher command course. That means those who are going to become generals later. So I used to teach Sage Yoga to all of them. It was not a part of the curriculum, but I took it. There was nobody to. I was the boss of my own self. So I used to teach them. They used to call me General Cool Breeze.
so what was, I mean, we have public programs and various things now. So as sort of as a college, you need a curriculum to teach something. So how did it run
I,
over how many days,
I
or what was the
see.
duration?
I used to. I
Tell us
used to.
about it, please.
I used to teach them leadership. That was my subject as the commandant. First, I was the commander, higher command wing. Then I became the commandant. So I used to teach them leadership, higher leadership in war, operational level leadership in war. In that, I used to bring Sage Yoga
How?
because you see, all the principles of Sage Yoga, when you relate them to leadership, you see the chakras, see the qualities of chakras. Those qualities are of the best leader available in the world.
Can you illustrate it with an example, Uncle, please? Because I
For
know the
example,
chakras. Yeah, go.
courage.
Yes.
Courage. Take courage. If the heart is in a good condition, if the heart is solid,
Yeah.
your courage is automatic. If the heart is clear, you are not afraid at all.
Yeah.
In the
Yes.
army, there is a general saying that everyone is afraid in war. If
Mm.
you are not afraid, either you are a Gorkha or you are lying.
Yeah.
But if you are a sage yogi, you're
Yeah.
not afraid.
Yeah.
That's so. Therefore, that's one aspect. The courage in face of challenges,
Yeah.
and huge challenges to a senior commander, because in his entire decision making process, he's got to weigh, because he's got the command of thousands of men. Those men are going to die if you take a wrong decision.
Yes. Also, that brings another query basically is because, in the army, like in Sahaja Yoga or in the world, people come from all faiths, all walks of life. So did you use actually Shrimati Ji's photograph and tell them about the meditation chakra wise, or what did you do? I'm just trying to
I
understand.
I used to take first a normal lecture of Sahaj Yoga,
Okay.
telling them as to what are the advantages of doing Sahaj Yoga meditation.
Yes.
Then I used to relate the chakras to the leadership in the army. And now let's say when you come to the Sestra, when you are connected to your Atma, which is the reflection of God within us, you're connected to God. How can you be destroyed? You'll not be destroyed. You will win the battle.
Yes.
Shrimati Ji used to say, you will win without fighting. Shri Mataji has said that you don't have to worry, you will win without fighting. I remember that I was, coming in for the next promotion, which was Major General to Lieutenant General. We were sitting in Delhi, and Shri Mataji asked my wife, why is he looking so despondent today? You know, I was looking very serious. So, so my wife told her that, Shri Mataji, when their promotion is coming or is due, they all become very serious. You know what she said? She said, उसको कौन रोक सकता है जिसके अंदर से परमात्मा की शक्ति बहती. And fair enough, when the board, all the army commanders in chief sit for this board to decide who's to become a lieutenant general. When this board took place, the Director General Military Operations rang me up with a friend. He rang me up. He says, VK, you made it. And others, all my cosmates was telling me, तू किसी को जानता नहीं है, तू किसी से, किसी politician को नहीं जानता, you will not make it. I just used to keep quiet. So the point is that I'm not saying that everybody who says Sahasrar is open will get the promotion, but there are two principles. One is, if you are meditating regularly and this love of God is moving through you, then nothing bad can happen to you. That means whatever happens is good for you. It may so happen that you don't get promoted because it may not be good for you to get that promotion. So that also happens, which people don't understand in their earlier years. But when we go along and we, gain experience in Sahaja Yoga, then you know that जो हिंदी में कहावत है, जो उचित होता है वही होता है. जो whatever is good for you happens to you. Yes. That is what is to be understood in Sahaja Yoga. Yes. It's not the promotion which matters. What matters is what is good for your life, for your future. That will happen to you. And therefore, we shouldn't get too worried. For example, when I was in the army headquarters as a brigadier, and this problem of my medical, this thing was coming up, 2 letters came to me from Ministry of External Affairs. You've been selected as the UN force commander to Cyprus. After 6 months, nothing happened. And some Pakistani brigadier went. Cyprus is divided into two parts. There is a Cyprus which is independent, and there is a Cyprus which is with Turkey and the Muslims.
Yes.
So, I never went there. Then came a letter 6 months later that you've been selected as Chief of Staff for UN forces in Somalia. Again, I never went. So I got a little frustrated. Why am I not going?
So you got a letter through the post and then you didn't go.
No, not letter, official letter.
Yeah, official letter. So how come you didn't go then? How did that
Because it said, be prepared to move at short notice.
Oh, but then you never got the final call.
Final go.
Okay.
And then I realized that had I gone, afterwards I realized, had I gone, I would not have met Shri Mataji.
Yes.
So it was in my destiny to meet Shri Mataji.
Definitely.
Therefore, I don't feel bad about it.
No, and as she said, we have been with her in past lives, and it's like the scattered pearls that she's chosen, isn't it? So it's a big blessing. So where was this meeting? Which year was this meeting when you were despondent and Shrimati Ji spoke to answer you why?
I think it was sometimes in 1999 or 99, yeah. Sometimes in 1999 in Delhi. I'd come down on leave, and by that time I had got to know the family. Achha. Before that, I never knew the family. I only had met Shri Mataji.
Yes, so and that is the main thing for us as Sahaja Yogis. So that's great.
So after that, when I met the family, I came to know Ramal Bhai Sahab, and I came to know Sadhana Didi and the grandchildren and all. So then I had access to their family. So I used to
Okay.
meet them.
Okay.
And if there was like one day, Ramal Bhai Sahab sent word, ke, look, I am presenting my trip to Kailash Parbat uh, to Shri Mataji in a slide form. Come in, if you want to, if you are available, come and see it. I ran. I said, certainly. So both my wife and I went. What an experience. I was sitting, Shri Mataji came and sat down next to me. And you won't believe it, when Shri Mataji, when you are sitting near Shri Mataji, your Kundalini dances. Mother Kundalini just dances on your, you know. So those 2 hours that we spent that night, I didn't know anything. I never saw any presentation. I was, I was,
Bliss.
absolutely in a meditative state, completely thoughtless. So me, being where Shri Mataji used to be was a tremendous experience. Was an experience which, I mean, you cannot classify these experiences. They are
And
out
words
of
aren't
this.
adequate to describe either.
Yes, you just. I mean, there is no language to describe it.
But thank you so much, Uncle, for sharing these beautiful memories with Shrimati Ji. We will regroup. Thank you so much. Thank
And
you. No, go on.
one more thing. When
Sure.
she was about to get up from this presentation,
Yes.
Shri Mataji, if you went to their house, the first thing she would do is to feed you something. I mean, that was my experience. Have you eaten? Bring tea. Bring mithai. Bring that mithai which you brought, is to tell. So bring that. And I remember every time I went there, what beautiful mithai one had to, the sweetmeats which were offered. And that evening, when she got up from the sofa and she said, I'm so sorry that there is, that you all got late for dinner and there's no dinner available here. You know, I, I wanted to tell her, Shri Mataji, I'm so full of vibrations, I don't need food. you know,
Um,
the, the vibrations themselves make you, hunger. I mean, you feel nothing else but
yes.
love.
Yeah, that's so true. Amazing. Okay. Great. We'll thank Shrimati Ji for this absolutely beautiful experiences on the field and in her lovely home in Noida, that must have been.
Yeah.
Thank you, Uncle, for sharing that. Jai Shrimati Ji.